This is Drodio. I'm the CEO of Storytell. I'm wondering, who do I know that works in or with the US government that would like to be able to do like very specific detailed analysis of the US budget? And I'll show you what I mean. Storytell is a company intelligence platform for unstructured data. It's typically used by teams like customer success teams to be able to like understand churn risk of customers, right? But it's really about being able to query like really large data sets, like all my customer feedback or things like that, that could have like hundreds or thousands of files in it. And a great example of unstructured data is this 188-page PDF, which is the US federal budget. And so, it's a really dense, long document. Well, what we've done is we've put it into Storytell. So you can see we have a collection called the 2025 US federal government budget. We're putting in 2024. We're just going to put in 2020 through 2025, and then we can ask questions of it. Like, how does, and maybe I want to look at like defense spending, right? So I'll say, how does at defense, and then I can see like 2024 defense spending compare to defense, and I'm going to grab the 2025 defense spending, right? Also, Storytell helps me ask better questions. There's this button called Improve It. So I could hit the Improve It button, and it's going to help me ask a better question. Okay, it improved it, give me 3 options: focus on analytical comparison details, focus on structured step-by-step analysis, focus on domain-specific budget insights. So let's take this better version of the question. And I'm going to send this. I can also pick which LLM I want to have answer if I want to. By default, we pick for you. We chose OpenAI's O3 Mini here as the best large language model to answer this question. And now we can see that Storytell gives me its reasoning, so I can open this up and it tells me how it's doing this, giving this answer. So here's all the reasoning. It tells me the limitations to the answer, and then it gives me the answer. So here is how the budget has changed, and I can see 2024 versus 2025. So the increase, etc. I can also do things like maybe I want to go deeper on this, right? And so I can highlight it and I could say, get a more in-depth answer, give me more detail on this. Maybe I don't understand it. I can say, explain this to me like I'm 5 or in middle school. Or maybe I want to ask a follow-up question just about this part. But for now, I'll say, get me more detail on this. And so now it's going to reach more deeply into the large language model, into all the data. And it's going to give me a better answer, a deeper answer. We can see that now it's giving me a lot more detail on just this piece, right? So it was 1 bullet point, now it's many paragraphs. And we chose Gemini this time to answer this question. We also share these story tiles, which is the source data that we're using to answer the question. So you can always get back to the source. You can also translate this answer. Maybe I want it in Portuguese instead of English. Here's my Portuguese version. You can also start to do some really interesting things with other data sets. Many of you know this white paper about how AI is just going to be completely transforming our world. And so it's a very technical white paper about the growth of AI and AGI and things like that. It also happens to be 165 pages long. Maybe I want to make a case to increase federal spending on AI based on AI trends. So I'm going to make a sub-collection here. I'm going to name it AI Trends. I'm going to add this white paper to this collection. It's going to take a few seconds to process. By the way, while it's processing, I'll tell you something cool. When you upload a file into Storytell, we explode the file apart into a lot of little pieces. We recombine parts of every document you upload into what we call a story tile. So a story tile is based on a concept. So for example, 3 rows from this CSV and 1 paragraph from this Zoom call and 3 slides from this PowerPoint are all related to the same concept. And so the story tile is a concept first view instead of a file first view of all your data. So we dynamically create a knowledge graph. Now we're back. This is ready to go. So now I'm going to say, based on emerging at AI trends, and I'm going to grab all the content that's in this collection. Now it's just that one situational awareness white paper that's 165 pages long. This could be 100 documents here. And so here we are. Based on emerging AI trends, what can the US government do to optimize its 2025 budget to best optimize for an outcome where the United States government ensures successful, safe AI outcomes for the US and the world? do an analysis to show what the US government should spend more or less on, where it's over and under invested in technology and AI, and what the practical geopolitical and existential risks are if the government does not make these changes. Now, I could just hit send here. I could also choose which large language model I want to answer this. Like maybe I want DeepSeek to answer this, right? By the way, we're running a distilled version of DeepSeek on US servers, so it's safe for enterprises to use. But maybe I also just want to ask Storytell to improve this question first before I send it. Oh, these are all good versions of the questions, right? Emerging trends. But I think I'm going to do a balanced risk analysis here. This is a good version of the question. Ensure both national and international safety. Let's send it. We chose O3 Mini to answer. All right, here we go. We've got the reasoning of Storytell, the limitations, and then the answer. Some very interesting things here. Increase the budget allocation for R&D and AI safety, allocate funds to boost domestic production of AI chips, create a coordinated government-led initiative, increase funding for diplomatic initiatives. Some insights here: overinvestment in raw compute without parallel investment in the domestic supply chain makes the US vulnerable to external disruption. So yeah, pretty interesting here. I'm gonna say get more from this answer, and I'm gonna say I ask a follow-up question about this. This puts the answer in, and I can ask this follow-up question. So I have a follow-up question. I need to convince Congress and the President of the US to make these changes to the budget to ensure successful AI outcomes. Write a brief I can send them. And so here it is. Let's ask Storytell to do that for us. And here it is. Subject: urgent rebalancing for national AI security and leadership. I write to urge a recalibration of our budget, and then it shares details about this. All right, so that is Storytell. Hope it's valuable. Here's actually why I'm making this video. We only have a few people in this collection right now, because Storytell is new and we've been testing this out. I would be happy to invite you to this collection because it's all public data. You can ask all of your own questions of the US government. Would you like that? Would love to have you test Storytell with us and tell us what you think, what you love, what you long for. We love building for our users. All right, thank you. Ciao.